Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology.
Hello everybody, this is Dr.Joshila Grace, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Today we are going to see a topic on method overloading and method overriding in Java programming. So we have seen many videos having inheritance in it. So this is also a part of inheritance as well as the various types of methods. So basically you need to have knowledge about various types of methods and inheritance to understand this topic. So we will know what is method overloading. In one class, if we are going to have more than one method with the same name, we will be telling the particular method as method overloaded. How do you differentiate between the same named method inside a single class? It is based on the number of parameters what we are going to use. So inside a single class, you have more than one method with same name, but the number of parameters we have used is different. So here if you see I have one parameter, here I have two parameters, I have three parameters. Like this we can differentiate between the methods. The name of the method will be the same. So here we have an example for method overloading. I have started with a class which is having a method which is named as add numbers. So this method does not have any parameter. I have two integers being given. I have added up the values. I have printed the result. So this is my activity of one function which is not going to have any parameter. Inside the same class, before I close the class, I am going to have one more function which is named with the same name, add numbers. So I have the name previously, I have the function which is named as add numbers. The same name I am having it in the next function also, add numbers. Within brackets, I have two parameters. I have two integer parameters. In the previous function, I didn't have any parameter. Here I have two parameters. Since I have two parameters, those parameters itself I am going to use for adding up. I am printing the result. So here I have an example for method overloading. You should have minimum two functions which is going to have the same named function. So here inside a class I have two functions with same name but different number of parameters. Followed by I have a class which is named as first. I have a main function inside my class. I have created an object for my class which is named as CAL. Using that object, I am trying to call add numbers two times. I have two functions here, two times I am calling my function add numbers. So obj dot add numbers, within brackets I don't have anything. It means that I am trying to call add numbers functions which does not have any parameter. Then in the next line I have add numbers which is going to have two parameters being passed, which means I am going to call the same add numbers function, but the function which is going to have two parameters as input, that is going to be called for this particular second calling function. So I will get an output like sum is equal to, sum is 40 and sum is 555. So what is method overriding? So we have seen about method overloading where we have one class inside which I have more than one function with the same name is method overloading. So what is method overriding? Method overriding is related to inheritance. You are writing a program for method overriding, surely you should have inheritance. You will have a base class, you will have a derived class. So whenever you have an inheritance, you have a base class as well as you have a derived class. So here the slight difference is the name of the function is going to be the same, but it is not going to be inside one single class. Instead of that, in method overriding, we will be having the same named function present in my base class as well as in my derived class. So that is what is method overriding. The same named function which is present in my base class as well as in my derived class, we tell it as method overriding. So here if you see, I have a parent class which is nothing but my base class which has a function called run. I have a subclass which is nothing but my derived class which is named as car. Again inside this I have a function called run. The same named function is present in my parent class as well as my subclass. I tell it as method overriding. So in case of method overriding, we will be having an inheritance being present. So in your base class, you have a function. The same named function must be present in your derived class also. So we have to write a program such a way that your base class as well as derived class has same named function. So here I have given a program where I have given a single inheritance. I have a class first which has certain things to be done. I have named a function which is present inside my class first as void fn1. I have a derived class. I tell this as a derived class because I name my class as second, which extends the property of first. First is my base class. So since it is going to have a extends keyword, it means it is a derived class deriving the property of first class. Inside this, I have a function which is named as fn1. We could find that the same named function fn1 is present in my base class also. So I will be trying to use the property of my base class and use it inside my derived class. What are the properties of my base class? I have an A variable and B variable being given as 100 and 500. These are the properties. These value I am trying to use in my derived class function, which is the same named as fn1. I am going to add it and I am going to print the result. So inside my derived class, inside my fn1, I have a super keyword which we have already seen in a video about super keyword. So this super keyword enables us to call the base class function. The super keyword which is present here, super.fn1, calls the base class function fn1. Moving to my next class, which is going to contain my main function, inside which I have created an object for my derived class second. So this object is used for calling the fn1 function. Since it is a derived class object, fn1 function is going to be called, which is present inside my derived class. Derived class fn1 will be called. Inside my derived class fn1, I have the first line to call my super.fn1, which in turn calls my base class fn1 function. Even though I have two functions of the same name, it will be calling in this order only. So it will call the base class fn1, assign values for a and b, use these values for addition in my derived class and print the value as sum is equal to 600. So this is how we will be using a method overriding. So these are the main differences of method overloading and method overriding. In case of method overloading, it is possible only in same class. In one class, we will be having many methods with the same name. In case of method overriding, it is possible only with a derived class. So as I said, you should have an inheritance. In your base class and derived class, you should have the same named function. So in case of method overloading, static methods can be overloaded. In case of method overriding, it is static method for overriding. In case of method overloading, it is again called as static binding or early binding. In case of method overriding, it is called as dynamic binding or late binding. In case of method overloading, it is used to implement compile time polymorphism. There, in case of method overriding, it is implemented by runtime polymorphism. In case of method overloading, same method name in same class with different signature is present. So in one class, many methods with same name but with different set of parameters is present. In case of method overriding, it has a derived class in which you can have same set of signatures, that is same set of variables, parameters being used for the same named function. In case of method overloading, it helps to extend functionalities. In case of method overriding, it helps to overwrite or change the existing functionalities. So these are the major differences between method overloading and method overriding. Thank you.